Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Okay. So here we are dealing with the human capital formation. I told you what is the difference between physical capital and human capital. Then the difference between human capital and human development. That was discussed in the previous chapter. Can anyone tell what do you mean by human development and what do you mean by human capital? What is the difference? Who can say? Or I will ask. What is the difference between human development and human capital?
Human development is based on the idea that education and health are integral.
That integral. That's what you said. Aparna, just 1 minute. Okay. Yes. One
Ma'am, human capital consider education and health as a mean to increase labor productivity.
human capital. Just say once more. Aishwarya, I think she has some problem. Yeah.
Capital considers education and health as a means to increase labor productivity.
As a means to increase the productivity, labor productivity. What about human development? It's an integral part of human development. We are not considering it as increasing something. Okay. Next, one more difference I told you. What is that? I hope you might have written down the notes. You can at least see that and say, yes. Tomlin, can you?
Ma'am,
No, I can't hear.
ma'am, investment on education and health is considered as unproductive.
Investment on
Education and health
is unproductive, is considered as unproductive when?
If it does not increase the
If does not increase the
output of goods.
okay. Okay. What about the other one? This is how human capital, right?
Yes, ma'am.
What about human development?
Ma'am, it is considered to be productive even if it does not.
Yeah, it is. They are. Yeah, it is considered education or health. All these things are considered to be productive, even it's not. Just 1 minute. Even if it is not. Yes. One more difference is there, right? Elvina, the last one.
In human capital, it is means to being an end. In that, it means to the an increase in the productivity, and in human development, it is it is mainly means in the index of the development in the human welfare, irrespective of the process of value addition.
Once more, wait. Karthik, slowly.
Ma'am, human capital treats human beings as a means to an end.
It is a means. What are all considered as a means? Here, what is considered as a means to the end result?
Human capital.
Human capital. Okay. The qualities, I mean, healthy person, educated person. Okay. The other one?
Human development is an index of human welfare, irrespective of its contribution in the process of value addition.
Okay, it is a result itself. Okay. So this is about human capital and human development. Then I discussed about the state of human capital in our country. what is the situation related to the education or health in our country. There are some institutions which takes care of our educational system. Okay, can you name those? I discussed that also, right? No? Yes or
Yes,
no?
ma'am.
Okay, there are some institutions which takes care of education, especially at the school level and even health also. There are some institutions which takes care of health facilities. The first related to education, I told you few organizations. Now it can be called as organizations. So what are those organizations? Grishma, can you tell?
NCRT,
Hmm.
UGC,
Louder.
ma'am, NCRT,
Hmm. Then?
UGC,
UGC, All India Council of Technical Education. Then to take care of health facilities, there are, to decide things related to health, there are two institutions. Which are they? Aditya, can you tell?
National Medical Commission,
Hmm. Then
ICMR, Indian Council for Medical
ICMR. Okay,
Research.
so these are few institutions which takes care of the health facilities of our country. Okay. Next is related to the education, the situation of the people, whether they are able to spend much money for education, whether then if they are not able to spend money for education and healthcare, who should take that responsibility? That is what the next one. So many people, if you see, they can't access the basic education because they don't have much money to spend on education. So one reason we can say that the income level of the people, that is very low, they can't send their children or they can't go for education. So or they can't afford education, or sometimes it is not accessible for them. Some areas are there where the educational institutions are not there. So because of this reason, some people, they are not able to send their children. Sometimes you might have heard that parents, they hesitate to send their girl children to the schools because it is very far away from the school. So they don't want to send their girls for the education. So this is one reason you can see that they can't afford sometimes the education facilities. Not only education facilities, health facilities also they can't afford. You know that private hospitals and all, how much they charge for the treatments and all. So we feel that some people are there in our country, they can't, or it is given substantial section of India's population. That means majority of the population in our country, they are not able to afford the health and education facilities what is provided in our country. Why do we say that they can't afford? Because they are super specialty healthcare centers. Higher education, it needs lot of money. You know that government is providing compulsory education till 14 years of age, or we can say that till that maybe till 12th also you can see that they are providing education. But beyond that, people are not able to send their children because of high cost of education. So that area also, even though some amount they charge from the people, government colleges also, less amount they charge from the people, sometimes they are not able to afford that also. So here, a substantial section of the population, in the sense majority of India's population, they are not able to treat their diseases because of high cost, or they are not able to get admitted in the educational institutions because of high fees charged by the colleges and all. Especially they are talking about higher education, okay, not the primary one or not the elementary one. Another one, so it is at the same time we are considering the basic education, health care as a right of citizens, but that is not reaching everyone. So it is whose duty we are telling, that is government should provide all the education, health services free of cost for deserving citizens and those who are belonging to socially oppressed classes. Socially oppressed classes, mainly we are talking about those some section where there years back they were oppressed by the high caste people. So that is why they keep some reservation for these SC caste, we say, or you might have heard scheduled caste, scheduled tribe. They were oppressed in the hands of others. So because of that reason, we expect that government should provide all these essential services. Now we consider health and education as essential service. That essential services should be provided by the government for the deserving citizens. I mean, what do you mean by deserving citizen here? Who can say deserving means what now?
The poor sections of people who can afford.
Yeah, here we say that eligible citizens, in the sense the poor sections of the people who can't afford the treatment, it should be provided free. Not only the treatment, what we are talking, even the education also. Now next one, education sector in our country, how is it, whether the government is spending any money or whether it has a role in the education sector, that is what is given related to education sector in our country. So the first one, if you see, that is related to growth in the government expenditure on education. Growth in the government expenditure, in the sense, in this we are analyzing how much money or what percent of money is spent on education by the government. Now here it is expressed in two ways. One is as a percentage of total government expenditure, other one as a percentage of gross domestic product. Okay. Now what do you mean by as a percentage of total expenditure? Total expenditure means what here? We are talking about the government expenditure. Okay, so government expenditure, what all areas you can see the government will spend money? Can anyone say? In what all areas? Few examples.
Education.
Okay, and education. Then
Health.
Other than that?
Transportation, road.
Transportation or infrastructure. Sometimes they set up industries. Like that, lot of expenditure is there. You do you know that where they discuss this about the expenditure and all? Where this expenditure comes? Where they discuss about this? I mean in the parliament only, but there is a particular time they talk about, okay, this much money they will spend about on transportation. This much money they will spend on irrigation for the farmers. Like that, have you heard? That especially happens in some 2-3 months. What is that? No one knows, or nobody wants to open your mouth. Sneha, have you heard about it? No. See, government, you might have heard that in some particular months, government is talking about the expenditure. So the opposition parties may say that, okay, how much you are spending, it is not, it's not adequate, you have to spend more, like that and all you might have heard. Where do they discuss about this public expenditure, government expenditure? No one knows. Tomlin? Any idea? If you don't know, you say no. Karthik?
Oh, ma'am.
No. Aishwarya?
When they announce the budget.
Okay, when they announce the budget, in that only they discuss about the government expenditure. Okay. Now, when in the government expenditure, they say that they are spending this much money for agriculture, this much for transportation, like that they will be deciding. There also they will decide how much money should be spent for health, how much money should be spent for education, like that discussion will be taken. Okay, so here what they are telling that some percentage of government expenditure should be there for on education. That is one way they will express. Another one, as a percentage of gross domestic product. Now, what is this gross domestic product? What is gross domestic product? In simple term, you say, what is that? Not the definition, some other name for the,
Value of all goods and
okay, value of all final goods and services produced. What does it mean? Income of a country, you just think it in that way, income of a country. The country is earning income, right? From that income, how much percentage they are spending on education. So these are the two methods through which they are expressing the government expenditure on education. What are those two methods? One as a percentage of total government expenditure, second one as a percentage of gross domestic product. Okay. Now, the percentage of education expenditure, it is out of this total government expenditure. It shows that how much importance they are giving for education, or government is how much importance they are giving. If percentage is more and more on education, it means that government is giving much and more importance on education, or they are ready to spend for the education. So how much total income they are ready to spend on education, that is decided by the government, or it is decided by the particular ministry of our country. So how much we are spending, that is what we are talking about, the percentage of education expenditure, percentage on education expenditure. Now here, percentage of education expenditure of GDP expresses, here GDP, I told that it is the income. So the income is earned by the people. So the income out of total income, how much percentage we are keeping for the education of people. So how much, you know that there are various taxes are collected, or income is earned by the population. A part will go to the government. They are earning income through imports also, in the sense, exports also. So government is earning some amount of foreign exchange. So out of all these things, you can see how much percentage they are keeping for education or spending on education. That is what expenditure percentage on the basis of GDP here, or how much they are committed for the development of education. That is what it is shown. Okay. Next one, they have given here how much they are planning, or how much they have planned for spending on education, or some sort of, I think your textbook, just take it and just check the percentage what is given. Is it the same? Is it 2014, 1952 to 2014 only is given, right? The education expenditure, that percentage, how much they are spending. They were spending before only 7.92 percentage, but that has increased to 15.7 percentage. Okay. So as a percentage of GDP, if you see, it was 0.64 before, it has increased to 4.3 percentage. That means GDP's 4.13 percentage, they are spending on education. I mean, government is spending for education. Okay, out of this, if you see, the education expenditure as a percentage of total government expenditure, okay, as a percentage of total government expenditure, in the sense how much the government is spending. From that, if you see how much percentage they have spent in 1952, how much percentage? I want you people to respond. See, it is there on the screen, that you can't just tell me. I mean, those who are keeping mum all the time. 7.92. So 7.92 was spent on education as a percentage of total government expenditure in 1952. But if you see in 2014, that has increased. How much is it? It is increased to how much? Amal Raj? Everyone switched off the video. Please switch it on. Fast. How much it is increased to as a percentage of total government expenditure in 2014? Amal Raj. Ashish. How will I come to know that whether you people are sitting there or not? Anjo? And afterwards, let me tell you. I told you as a percentage of government expenditure, it is increased in 2014. How much percentage was spent? Irfan, what happened? How much percentage was spent on education? Ashish, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, how much amount or how much percentage from total government expenditure was spent on education in 2014?
4.
Is it 4? See, these two are different. Percentage of total government expenditure, percentage of GDP, it is different. The first one is about as a percentage of total government expenditure, how much it is increased. Now can you see? Ashish. Can you see, Ashish? It is given here, right? Aishwarya?
15.7.
15.7. It is increased to, it was 7.92, it was very less, it is increased to 15.7. Now that also you see out of 100 percentage, only 15 percentage is spent on education. Okay, next one as a percentage of GDP, you can see that very less amount is spent. It was very less, 0.64 in 1952. 1952, you can think as soon as we got independence, within that few years they are talking. It was only very less, 0.64, but now that has increased to 4.13. Okay, so education expenditure is not that very high compared to the other expenditure on other things. Now here also, it is not uniform at all. There has been irregular or it is fluctuated. Some years it may be more, some years it will be less, like that kind of fluctuation you can see. At the same time, if we are adding the private expenditure, if you are adding private expenditure in the sense, what do you mean by this private expenditure on education? What is that? Private expenditure.
The expenditure by private institutions.
Expenditure by the private institution. In the sense, think of private schools and private institutions where they provide education. If you see that, that will be a little more higher. I mean, in the sense, what money they are spending for education, that is very higher if you add all these things. Public, in the sense, government, we are spending money. At the same time, you can see even the private institutions are there. They are also spending money on education. So if you total it, it will be much higher. This we are talking only about the government spending, not about the private spending. Okay. Next one is related to, just 1 minute. Okay, next one. Yes. Next one related to elementary education. Okay, if you see the expenditure on elementary education, the share of elementary education is very high. That means expenditure on elementary education is very high compared to the higher education. Here they have given tertiary education. Tertiary education in the sense higher level education, especially in the colleges or high, more qualified courses will come under tertiary education. So that if you see, it is very least or it is very less, it seems, compared to the expenditure on elementary education, because it is in our country, it is made compulsory that there will be education free for till 14 years of age. So government is more concentrating on the elementary education or till including the school level education. After that, they are not spending much money on other things. So you can see the tertiary education is getting least as a percentage from the education expenditure. Okay. Just 1 minute. Okay. Now next one. In 2014-15, the per capita expenditure on per capita public expenditure on the elementary education, that if you see, it is different between states. So some states, they gave much importance for education. Some states, they are not spending much money on education. So one example they have given in your textbook also, it's there. That is in Himachal Pradesh, if we see, somewhat rupees 34,651 they are spending. When we say per capita public expenditure, per person's expenditure we are talking, but at the same time in Bihar, if you see, it's very low, that is somewhat 4,088. So if you compare the states also, expenditure on education is very much different. Some states, they spend a lot of money on education, but some states are there, they are not spending much money on education. Especially the comparison is to show that there are differences in among the states also on spending the education or expenditure on the education. Next one, there was a suggestion somewhat 55 years ago. You can see there was an education commission that was set up in 1964-66. They recommended that at least 6% of GDP should be spent on education. Okay. So how much should be spent on education as a recommendation of Education Commission? It should be how much?
At least 6%.
At least 6%. How much we are spending, I told before? Just before I told you, GDP percentage. How much we are spending?
4.13%.
4%, somewhat 4% you take. So the Education Commission, why they say that? To achieve a great growth, to get a good growth in education, at least we should spend 6% of GDP on education. But as according to the 2014, if you see, we are spending only 4% of GDP for education. So we are not able to make, or we are not able to spend 6% of GDP on education. If we spend, then only we can get a remarkable achievement in this area. Now there is a committee, Tapas Majumdar Committee. You just see that in which year it was. There is a chance to come these kind of questions. You know that it's an MCQ question. So they estimated that how much money they have spent on education for over these 10 years. That is from 1998 to 2007. How much money should be spent to bring all the Indian children under the age of, or in the age group of 6 to 14 years under the education, under the school education. So they have government appointed one committee to study about education. What is the name of that particular committee? What is the name of that particular committee?
Tapas Majumdar Committee.
Tapas Majumdar Committee. And for what purpose they have appointed? To study about the expenditure on education. What they say that 1.37 lakh crore over these 10 years, in the sense from 1998 to 2007, if you see, that was that should be spent for what purpose? To bring all the Indian children under the age group of 6 to 14 years to give the school education. So this is one suggestion given by Tapas Majumdar Committee to bring all the Indian children, this much money should be spent. Next one, This is what I told before, current level of percentage as a percentage of GDP, current level, how much we are spending, only 4%. That is a bit inadequate one. We can't give education to everyone. So at least 6% should be there, then only we can bring a remarkable achievement or a noticeable achievement in the field of education. So this is related to spending by the government. It is decided that 2%, I mean, they started levying 2% of education cess on all union taxes. You know that people are paying taxes or some taxes are there. From that, 2% should be kept on for education. Like that kind of education cess are kept here. Another one, revenue from this education says for how they are using, it is used for elementary education. So here also government is giving much importance to which kind of education, which level of education? Elementary education, in the sense bring all the children under the school or bring everyone, at least they should know how to read and write, not the higher education. Okay, so this is one aim what we have in our country. Other than that, you can see government is spending lot of money on the promotion of higher education, or we can say they are encouraging a lot of they are doing a lot of encouragement activities mainly to promote the higher education and other qualified education, I mean professional educations in our country. At the same time, they provide loans to the students for education. At least then the students can learn and get education. This is a loan and all we are mainly giving for higher education, not for the school education and all. Okay. Now, next one they have given regarding educational attainment in India. And I feel that here also the table will be a little bit different for you. Just check here 2011 it's given. In your textbook it is different, right? You can just copy it down. $2,000 is given for you. Then after that, in your textbook, 2011 is not there, 2017-18 is not there, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can just copy it down. If you see the table, educational level, how much we have attained, how much was in 1990, how much is in 2017-18, that is what is given. Adult literacy rate, when we talk about, male and female is given. Male percentage, it was 61% in 1990. We are not comparing with 1950s or anything. 1990, it is 61%. 1917, if you see, that is 82%. So somewhat a good improvement you can see in the adult literacy rate. So this is when we say talk about adult literacy rate, that is percent of people aged 15 plus, those who are above 15. Females, it was 37, it is increased to 66. But there also, if you see, the percentage of female literacy rate is very less compared to male literacy rate. Primary completion rate. Primary in the sense they are talking about primary education or elementary education, you can take 1990, 78. 2017 it has increased to 93. So almost a majority of the children, they are attending the schools. Females, it is 61 and it is increased to 96. Here you can see that majority of the females, they are attending school education. A good improvement you can see here. Youth literacy rate, if you see, that is male, if you see, that was 76.6 and it is increased to 93. Female literacy rate, it was 54.2, it has increased to 90. But those who are 15 plus to 24, in the sense 90% of only that youth we are talking, okay, not all women or not all male, only those who belongs to this age category we are talking. Okay, so here in 2009, Government of India enacted the right of children to get free and compulsory education act, and they made it free education as a fundamental right for all the children in the age group of 6 to 14 years. Now, I told that education cess was started levying. It is mainly for spending on education. Government gives a lot of outlay, in the sense expenditure we are talking. Outlay means expenditure. For the promotion of higher education, they are sanctioning. Government is sanctioning a lot of amount of money. Loan schemes have been started for the students who wanted to go for higher education. So this is only I wanted to tell. Now just we'll do a small recap on what we saw today. Okay. So here, because of the people, they can't afford these basic education and healthcare facilities. What we planned that, or what government is doing, that government has made it compulsory, or government is providing some sort of education and healthcare facilities to the deserving citizens. It's not only for the education is free for the all the children below 14 years. So there the government is not seeing whether they are deserving or not. But as you go to higher education, there you can see the government is providing maybe different kinds of scholarship, those who are having less income, or some sort of reservation, you know that especially the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, they have reservation, and their fees also will be very less compared to the other students, those who are belonging to other caste or other religion. So they are providing education at a very less amount for the deserving students here. Next one, education sector, how much they are spending. I told that it is expressed in two methods. That is, one is as a percentage of total government expenditure, other one as a percentage of gross domestic product. Now, just before that, let me take the attendance. Just 1 minute. It is 46. Just okay. We'll discuss in the next class. Aditya?
Present, ma'am.
Today is 30. Yeah. Anila? Anila present, right? Anju?
Yes. Present, ma'am.
Okay. Aparna? Present.
Present, ma'am.
Atul? Absent. Basil? Basil is present? Okay. Femina?
Present, ma'am.
Henna?
Present, ma'am.
Present. Karthik? Present. Irfan? Present. Pavitra?
Present, ma'am.
Present. Sharath? Sharath is absent. Absent. Shubham?
Yes, ma'am.
Present. Hadi?
Present, ma'am.
Present. Tomlin? Present, right? He's not there? Okay. Now Aishwarya,
Present, ma'am.
present. Amal, absent. Amal Raj, present. Ashish,
Present, ma'am.
is here? Okay. Elvina,
Present, ma'am.
Grishma, Sneha. Sneha is there, right? No. Okay, then. Thank you very much. We'll leave 2 minutes early. Okay, then. Bye. Thank you.